Good afternoon, everybody. It is meteorologist into weather forecast, and welcome back to another tropical update. Yes, I did say earlier I'm going to be doing a triple upload. And this second upload's a bit special. We do have a guest. You're going to be doing a collab with Inside Weather. But guys, Inside Weather is going to do introduce himself for a little bit.
Hi guys, it's Inside Weather. My name is Jack, and I am going to be helping out with Adrian. We are doing a little bit of a collab. We actually did a collab video on my channel yesterday, so if you guys want to go check that out, make sure to do so. It was really fun. And anyway, yeah, let's get right to the video.
Alright guys, so if you guys want to know all the new updates, because Hurricane Barry did go back to tropical storm because it went in the inland area, so we have a lot of new updates. Even with the tracks, we still have new updates with the tracks. Now we're going to be looking at how many power outages, the radars, the cone and timing. So if you want to know you're going to be affected by Tropical Storm Barry or Tropical Depression Barry, then stay tuned in the video, and yeah. Alright guys, so as you can tell, we're going to be looking at the National Weather Service because we still do have these hurricane warnings and storm surge warnings. So again, we do have these hurricane warnings in effect for the southern coast of Louisiana, next to these bay areas for south central Louisiana, and we still have them off the coast into the Gulf of Mexico. Just north of that, in the dark purple color, as you can tell, we do have the storm surge warning. This is even quite a bigger threat with up to 6 feet storm surge. We can pick up a car with these currents too. And then the light purple color, we do have these storm surge watches, which goes all the way into the Gulfport, Mississippi area, all the way into the southern parts of Louisiana. And then in the dark red color, that's where we do have flash flood warnings and also tropical storm warnings. That's in effect for actually still New Orleans on there, and also for the Baton Rouge area, which is the capital. And then in the very bright green colors, that's where we do have flood warnings. So for those areas that can really expect a lot of rain in a short period of time. And then again, we all know the dark green color is flash flood watches. So yeah.
Yeah, so pretty much everything as far as the storm's looking has been pushing a little bit farther west than originally expected. So New Orleans really won't be getting the brunt of the storm as far as kind of flooding and stuff goes, but it's still going to be really nasty. It did downgrade back to a tropical storm, I believe, and it is only about 70 miles per hour, and it's going to continue to do so once we get into kind of the evening and overnight hours. But still, all that heavy rain still has to push all on the coast, and that's really going to kind of trigger all that flooding.
Yeah, guys, like what Jack said, it all did start moving to the west. At first, we thought it was going to keep on moving to the east because it was. Even Alabama was kind of in the way, too. But then it did go to the east. So, guys, it go to the west. But if New Orleans would have got affected by this, they would have got affected right now. Yes, they're still getting some heavy rain right now, but it did move to the west, and that's going to the Shreveport area. They can get some heavy rain, and it looks like they're going to be in the cone. And then, guys, we do have tropical storm warnings in effect for the Mobile area. So now we're going to be looking at the 5-day graphical tropical weather outlook, Jack said and I said that it did downgrade back to a tropical storm, and it's at 70 miles per hour, and the maximum sustained winds at 60 knots. So again, this is where it was in the first place in the morning, so it's not looking like it's going to go back, and it did downgrade because it did go over land, and we all know what happens when it goes over land. And it did get even more weaker, a lot weaker than expected. It got really weak very fast. It's already at 996 millibars, and it was just at 991. So that is showing you guys that it's going to be really decreasing in speed and really decreasing in power very, very fast. And it's moving to the northwest at 6 miles per hour. So again, it could still affect parts of the Little Rock and then take that northeast turn once it gets close to St. Louis. And then again, we do have this next system out there in the Atlantic, which we will talk about later on this week. So now we are going to be taking like the satellite imagery. And as you can tell, we do have, here is Tropical Storm Barry. It is actually a lot bigger than this morning. That's how fast they can actually get that big, that fast. We are starting to have the outer bands. What I mean by outer bands, not really the rain necessarily. I mean the clouds, all that formation started going to the Houston area now. So if you see any cloudy weather into Houston, that is where you do see the outer bands of parts of the Barry area. And as you can tell, we do have the landfall on Louisiana already. Has already done a lot of damage. You see a lot more cloudy weather areas. You do not see these gaps in between the bands or the clouds. That's how bad it is getting. So yeah, Jack, you want to say anything about like the satellite imagery or anything?
Yeah, so with the satellite and stuff, it definitely has been kind of covering up much of southeastern Louisiana. If anything, actually much of southern Louisiana. The storm's kind of just fully pushing through now, all that wind and stuff. There's already been some reports of 50-mile-per-hour sustained wind on coast, and it's already before this storm has kind of fully gotten on. So it's definitely something we're going to have to kind of monitor. And also, like you were saying before, there is Invest 93L out in the Atlantic right now. The intensity guidance actually for tropical tidbits, many models are showing this could become a hurricane and even hit like areas in the Mediterranean, Yucatan Peninsula, and the Lesser Antilles Islands. But just as far as models are looking, it doesn't really look like it's going to be too possible. But we definitely are trying to focus on on tropical storm area right now.
Yeah, and if you guys been seeing on my other videos, I've been talking about how these clouds have already been in these same areas for like 2 days before Barry made landfall. Like that's how big these bands can be, and that's how far they can stretch. So that's the satellite imagery. If you guys see any clouds in your area for southern Louisiana, and then we are having these clouds start to get into the Shreveport area and moving towards the Little Rock and even to the Tupelo area, Mississippi. Yeah, it's moving up that north. So now we're going to be looking at the Conan timing. So this Conan timing is only 1 to 3 days out because that's where the gray area is. We're not going to be looking at the 4 to 5 day because first of all, it's not here, and also because it's really, really unpredictable right now because again, these models are keep on changing every single day. And as you can tell, 1 p.m. This X marks the spot of where it did make landfall at 1 p.m. Today, right there on the central part of Louisiana. You can tell it's right on there, splitting up the east and the west. And as you can tell, we in the circle area in the orange color, that's where we have the current winds. A tropical storm is, as you can tell, we are having tropical storm force winds for the most southern tip of Mississippi and for much of the southern coast of Louisiana, even to the Baton Rouge area. We will most definitely see tropical storm force winds moving closer into the Alexandria area, but we will not see tropical storm force winds really when it gets to Shreveport or Little Rock. By that time, it gets into a depression by later tomorrow, and it doesn't get depression by early tomorrow, 7 a.m. And then by Monday, it does move into the Little Rock area, and then it does become a subtropical depression by Tuesday. And as you can tell, we do still have the hurricane warnings in the red and the tropical storm warnings too in the blue, still for New Orleans. Now we're going to be looking at guys, and remember the NHS does take a long time to change the names, but again, it's now to Tropical Storm Barry model track guidance instead of hurricane. As you can tell, we, like me and Jack said, did shift to the west, and now you do see Shreveport is now looking like it's going to be in the area for the center of the storm to go. But again, it will be depression most likely when it does reach the northwestern part of Louisiana. It does look like it's going to go more to the western part of Little Rock, so if you live in the western part of the Little Rock area, that's where you can expect it to go. Now, it possibly could bring in some wind damage, some wind reports too for Oklahoma there, and then it will most likely take this northeast turn. Once it reaches St. Louis, again, the Mississippi River could deal, and even into the Mississippi area, the northern part of the river, all the way to St. Louis, could affect all the way to Indianapolis, even Cleveland, and all the way to Buffalo, New York, guys. That's how far this is going to go inland. So it really, when I mean inland, it goes all the way inland. So, Jack, do you want to say anything about like the model tracks or anything where it should go?
So pretty much once this does kind of eventually move inland, there is still that possibility that we could see some, gusty sustained winds, especially for a little bit north of Missouri. This could track eventually into the Ohio Valley and Mid-Atlantic and still possibly be a remnant of Barry, so there's still be anywhere between about 25-mile-per-hour sustained winds and some excess tropical moisture that could affect some of the area. Flooding won't be too much of a concern, but as many of you may know, it is going to be very, very warm for much of the northern tier U.S. That includes all the way up from Minnesota, all the way to Maine, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, all those areas seeing up into the mid-90s this coming week. And with that, we're going to be seeing those showers and thunderstorms push through. So it's not going to be just, that old warm weather that we've been seeing lately. We're going to see some showers as well.
Yeah, so yeah, that was actually a really good point. But now we're going to be looking at the intensity guidance. As you can tell, it is right on this border here at 70 knots here. 60 knots. You can tell it's right on the border of tropical storm in category 1 because it just became a hurricane a couple hours ago, and now it's right back to tropical storm. So obviously, it's not going to be into the major central part of a tropical storm, as you can tell. It's in the top of the box there. And as we look all the way into the next couple hours, the next 24 hours, we just see these spaghetti malls decreasing in winds, really just drastically moving really fast, and we should have it get to a tropical, back to depression by either the next 24 hours in between all the way to the next 48 hours, because you do have these hours next to the winds, and then it should become subtropical depression as it does reach next to the St. Louis area, and then it could potentially bring in some winds in the wind city of Chicago. So again, guys, not really much we need to look at the intensity guidance, because we already know it's going to be going down the rest of the way. Now we're going to be looking at the precipitation. We've been looking at this type of model for about 2 videos now. We've usually been looking at the European model, but now we're going to be looking at this one, since we already kind of have a good idea what the European model is going to show. So in the orange, we're going to be focusing on the orange, because the orange is 6 to 10 inches, and that's basically half a foot to almost a foot, which is still a lot of rain, and much of the Mississippi River is under this color, which is not good. It's already over flood stage. So we can actually have flooding issues all the way into Memphis, guys, all the way into that inland, just because of the river's over flood state. And then it's going to be having possibly up to 10 inches for Jackson. And then the rain chances are decreasing, of course, for New Orleans, as it does move more to the north. So earlier today, we did actually have 10 to 15 inches for New Orleans. Now we are only looking like possibly only maybe 6 or 7 to 8 inches. Additionally, we still have a good 4 inches to 5 inches, even possibly half a foot right now there. And then the bullseye so far is still for the south central part of Louisiana, and then southwestern Mississippi. Again, as we all know with the tropical systems, that they do go inland, they do have these outer bands and the southern part of the systems that really bring in a lot of rain for the areas that got hit first. So again, that's where we have a lot of rain for a big area for a very long time. Again, 10 to 15 inches there for some little cities out there in southern Louisiana. So now one of the things we're going to be looking at is the power outage. This is poweroutage.us, and Jack's actually been showing this in his videos too. I used to be showing these with the severe weather threats, but now it's a good idea to look at this now, because now that it made landfall, we are going to be having power outages. So out of 2 million people tracked in Louisiana so far, we do have 98,000 people out without power, guys. It's a huge amount. Quite a big amount though. So if we look at specifically in the counties, of course we're gonna have the worst of it in the southern counties there that got affected worse. So we actually have one county, which is St. Mary. That's the county name, that has 18,000 people, more than 18,000 people tracked, and almost 17,000 people were tracked, guys. That's over 85% of the people in that county without power. And then we have some other areas around it that have quite a lot of power outages. So does Jack, do you want to have anything about the power outages, or any talk about anything that can cause power outages?
Definitely. So all those areas, especially in kind of the southeastern area of Louisiana, especially St. Mary, that's almost a full 100% of people that live in that county that don't have power right now. And the issue with this storm is that as it does push through, there isn't going to be a change in these power outages. It could be like this for weeks, especially for many counties. But as this does push north, there are going to be more counties in that track of seeing many power outages. So as this storm does push north, we've already been seeing more all the way up in like Catahoula and Atensis. So many areas are going to be seeing a lot more power outages as this does push through, especially with the flooding.
And yeah, guys, also, like, if you live in St. Louis or even north of that, don't expect really power outages, because, again, it's going to be weakening a lot, and the winds do have a big factor. They're more than 50% of the causes for power outages, because, first of all, the winds could push down the trees and then push the power lines down, and also just the wind just knocks out the power because it's so strong. But don't expect, like, if you live north of St. Louis, don't expect a huge area, a widespread area if you get power outages. We could have maybe 1 or 2 little counties there getting a lot of power outages, but don't expect a lot of the St. Louis area there. So now we're actually going to be looking at the radar. The NAM 3K AM. This is a very, very detailed radar. I like looking at this also for severe weather, because it's very detailed, shows you all the bands, unlike the GFS, the regular. So we're going to be looking at both of these models. So as you can tell, we do have these outer bands moving to the Montgomery area. We have bands all the way into the Birmingham area and Tupelo, Mississippi, guys. That's how far these bands can travel. That's actually eventually going to be affecting me tonight. But let's not focus on Georgia right now. Let's focus on Louisiana, Mississippi, and the South Central. Again, it does get to 1,000 millibars by the end of tonight. Still, we're having very heavy rain for New Orleans. Very heavy rain for that St. Mary County area like we talked about. And look at St. Mary, look at the county of St. Mary. It is just under the worst pressure, the worst part of it right now. So expect almost 100% of the areas that have not gone power out, expect 100% to possibly be out with power. Again, these heavy rain showers and heavy bands will be moving north, affecting the Mississippi River. By later tomorrow, it will be affecting Memphis, Little Rock, affecting the northern parts of Jackson area, and then possibly affect Alexandria. And then it's going to be moving towards the Jefferson City area, moving towards Joplin. And then once we've been talking about, again, Aurora, Illinois, and St. Louis. And that's where we do have it moving up north. Last thing we're going to be looking at very quickly is we're going to be looking at the regular GFS, the GFS 6-hour average precipitation rate. Again, and here it is. This was earlier on. Just it goes back 6 hours, and then you just got to put it back to the future. So this was back 6 hours. So now we're looking at right now. Right now we do have it really intensifying for some flooding issues, the intensification of huge issues, but it's not intensifying by like categories or by wind. As you can tell, we see it's going to be moving up most of the Mississippi River, potentially bringing some huge flooding issue for the southeast too for the coming days. Southeast does have look they're going to get a lot more rain than usual for the summer because of this system moving very slow and then moving towards the mid-Atlantic and the northeast and potentially the Midwest. So again, without a doubt, we will have a lot of rain for the southeast for the next coming days. So yeah, Jack, do you want to have any like last things you want to say?
Honestly, this storm has already made landfall. There really isn't too much else to cover because it's not like the models are going to be changing too much. It will eventually go all inland and kind of just weaken very rapidly. But I think that pretty much covers the whole update on this.
Alright, so thank you guys so much for watching this update and upload. Again, I expect another update on this storm maybe later tonight at maybe 6:30 because I want to at least tell you guys how bad it's weakening, and also for you guys see how recovery is going and all. So that's why I also want to do triple upload today. I know there's not much to talk about, like they're not really going to change. But the tracks could change, and that still impacts people. And if they can actually get hit by depression or not, they still need to prepare for those 20 plus winds. So I want to thank you, Jack or Insight Weather, for joining this collab. It meant a lot. So guys, you're gonna expect seeing a lot more collaborating videos with us too. Yeah, thank you guys for joining, and see you guys next time.